Okay, so I'm sat at home. I'm possibly down with a slight cold as of 2 days. I'm meant to go climbing tomorrow, which I actually really would like to be doing, but which I doubt I'll be able to do. Hence, should get to sleep soon. I have another about 11-ish hours before I need to decide whether I go climbing tomorrow or not. If a miracle happens and I suddenly gain miraculous amounts of energy overnight, I'm gonna be able to go climbing tomorrow. Aside from that, my ankle hurts like hell, as in literally hurts a lot when I walk downstairs, and had reached a point. So, last time that I tried some sort of sports was 2 days ago, and I then gently tried to do my ankle physio exercises and doing sort of really simple ankle physio exercises such as heel raises, or yeah, heel raises was the one during which that happened. Basically my ankle just abruptly hurt and all the muscles in my ankle collapsed and I needed to stop doing the heel raises, and that really soon after having started the exercise. And then at first I thought, okay, try it again and sort of ease into it by doing them with both legs first and then swapping to do them just on the left ankle. That didn't work. So then the same, ow, ow, and even now it just sort of hurts. Ow, fuck, what the hell is that? But yeah, basically the ankle really badly hurts as of the last few days. Aside from that, I'm ill, I don't have energy, and fucking hell, I just can't put into words how utterly lonely I am. And how utterly infuriating it is that nobody in this entire world cares about me. That nobody wants me to be healthy and happy. That essentially I've spent over 3 decades of my life exclusively existing to make other people happy, whilst nobody ever tried to make me happy. Whilst independently of how much work and effort I put in, of how many injustices I endured. And independently of how good I was to other people, I never received the same in return. Because again, I'm a person, I actually care about the people whom I actively choose to spend time with. At least if I spend time with them repetitively. Okay, in the case of some people, I care about them in a sort of almost motherly way, that I sort of see a self destructive person whom I can't really respect, but whom at the same time I sort of want to help, whom I sort of want to help out of his or her own self sabotage. And then I try that, meet up with such people once or twice, and sort of gently tell them my honest opinion. And if they completely blank out that advice, then I distance myself because it sort of, yeah, hurts me to see them self destructing. However, that's only the people whom I don't see as on a same level as me. With people whom I genuinely respect, if they tell me something from their life where they're doing something dangerous or where they've been severely mistreated, then I genuinely say, like, hey, I care about you, please be careful. Or, hey, you deserve something better than how these people are or have been towards you. Or even with the upstairs neighbor, who's been my only social contact for quite a while. As in, throughout most of 2021 to 2023. Sort of, he basically, well, smoked and drank pretty much all the time that he wasn't working. And I then basically started to say, like, hey, you seem to be a pretty smart guy, sort of, and you're a pretty good person to talk to, but you'd be a so much better person if you wouldn't cloud your mind with this stuff. Sort of, hey, I care about you, I appreciate you, and, well, actually, no, don't want to reveal specific dialogues between me and him here. But sort of, basically, if I see a person somewhat self-destructing, I say things. And also, when he had an injury, despite which he then went out, and that injury was an actual bone break, that would have, well, that wasn't properly set, and that was a pretty huge risk. And when he told me that he was going out to some sort of football mass viewing, despite of that, I then also said, like, hey, are you sure that you want to go there? This could happen. Please be careful. And when I then compare this to how people are towards me, literally in my entire life, not a single person has ever voiced any form of either sort of concern in the sense of, hey, I care about you, please be careful, or please reevaluate this and this. And especially not of, and especially nobody has ever said to me, like, hey, you're not being treated fairly here. Or actually, one single person ever did. A female person from the Elephant S Gate, when she heard about what had happened during the Net to Red race, and when I later on mentioned that and sort of expressed that, it had been really freaking harsh on me. And she apparently had heard about it from some other people, and basically was just like, yeah, you got massively screwed over there. That's sort of, that's literally pretty much the only acknowledgement that in my entire life I've ever gotten of somebody having been cruel or unkind towards me. That's literally the only acknowledgement that I've ever gotten of injustices that I've been subjected to. And then, in addition to that, comes the factor that I almost exclusively attract people who sort of drag me down with them. That I almost exclusively attract people who do not care about their own physical health, who do not care about their reputation, who do not care about their dignity, and who think that everything's a massive joke. And that I somehow almost exclusively attract people who often don't care about themselves in the slightest, and who also do not care about my wants and needs in the slightest, but expect me to be some sort of machine that exclusively exists to make them happy. Or that either as soon as she does what makes them happy, will stop caring about everything that actually makes her happy. And in contrast, so many utterly self-destructive and messed up people that I encountered throughout the years somehow then seem to be a magnet for people who actually build them up, protect them, and care about them. And those then somehow are massively better off than I am. And that despite the fact that, in contrast to them, I consistently put effort in to reach long-term health and happiness. Physically, by keeping my body healthy, by eating ridiculously healthy, by doing a lot of sports and exercise. Mentally, by having read up on therapy techniques and having been sort of mindful and having evaluated situations that sort of hurt or triggered me, or situations in which I acted irrationally from about 2011 onwards. So essentially for over a decade now, for 1.5 decades now. And by in addition to that, having taken up meditation and having done a lot of techniques to sort of self-therapize. And that in an actually sort of constructive way. In a based on logical thinking way. And in a way that was based on changing the conditioning that I had been put through throughout my entire childhood and teenage years. The conditioning that my own parents had enacted on me. And again, sort of throughout over a decade, I've put all of that work in. And people, including people who were meant to help me, then exclusively reacted by opposing me. Sort of, I found that self-love for myself. I know that I deserve better. And then the very people who should have been helping me reacted by putting all the blame back on me. Including a sick sadist spine of Harald Peter Futschig, who then stood there and literally told me that he would be protected. Sort of, essentially, I kept telling him that my parents were hurting me, that Denise Ohrenstein was hurting me, and he then always intuitively felt that I would be hurting myself and that the problem would be in me, and accepted no other narrative. And then eventually, I told him that I wish for him to be put through everything that I have been put through. Not because that is actually what I want. What I want is for people to empathize with me and to realize what I have actually been put through and how utterly horrible that is. Or more precisely, how utterly horrible that is for a person such as me, who significantly values her physical health and who significantly values non-violent communication and non-violent interaction. And that Harald Peter Futschig that stood there and literally first of all told me that he sensed that my father would have traumatized me out of love, and that apparently the problem was me, not understanding how much my father would love me. As if it was love to intentionally cripple your child. As if it was love to constantly hurt your own child. And then after that, when I told him that I wished for him to be put through what I am being put through every day, and through what he tells me to normalize or to sort of seek the fall of within me, then he replied something along the lines of, oh, I, Harald Peter Futschig, I am protected. See, I am protected because I am superior and a good Christian. And I am protected because I am the good guy here. And evidently, I must be the good guy because I am being protected and nothing bad happens to me. And honestly, I literally are no words for the amount of anger and hatred that builds up. There literally are no words for the anger and hatred that builds up when people talk to you like this. And when you've actually been non-stop doing everything you can possibly do. And when you actually are the good person that doesn't hurt people. And then have somebody who somehow irrationally is protected and has been lucky enough to never have been subjected to severe injustices, and who then looks down on you as if he would be better, stronger, or more resilient based on the fact that he's been lucky his entire life, that he's never encountered an injustice, that nobody ever crippled him, that people somehow respect him instead of telling him to go find a shrink. And that when he actually is the person who insists that his intuitive perception must be more accurate than actual facts. You know? That when people tell you to appreciate life, whilst your life is nothing but pain and terror, and especially when your life is full of pain and terror that you never would have subjected another person to. And yeah, then eventually so much hate builds up. And it's not even about hate. It's also about the realization that that person or this plurality of people somehow are completely unable to empathize with me and consistently have the thinking error that because they have not been subjected to bad luck, injustices, cruelties, and terror, that those I must have karmically deserved that. Except I didn't, and I then am stuck in a position where people consistently blame me for the fact that I've been subjected to horrors and terrors all of my life. And simultaneously, are completely devoid of empathy for the fact that I have been subjected to these horrors and terrors. And then eventually also by a sort of logical thinking process comes the sort of thought of, okay, what needs to happen for you to understand what I've been put through? What needs to happen for you to be able to empathize with me? And that when I already am here actively telling you that this is an unbearably painful situation for me. And when these people then consistently go on thinking that because nothing bad has happened to them, I must somehow have deserved everything that happened to me and I'm capable of empathy towards me, then eventually the thought comes that, hey, what needs to happen for me, for you to understand me? What needs to happen for you to be capable of realizing that I've been subjected to injustice here? And then eventually, seemingly, the only way to make them realize is to put them through everything that I've been put through. And the thing is, I don't want that, because an eye for an eye mentality makes everybody blind. But at the same point in time, what would be even worse would be to be infinitely hurt worse and worse, which I already have been constantly for over a decade.